showing you the shell. My dad brought this back from the Bahamas. It's a conch shell what Ralph used to summon all the little boys, to the meeting whenever he needed.
This is my quote. It's in the middle of chapter 5, and it is, "All this I meant to say, now I've said it. You voted me for chief, now you do what I say." This means that Ralph, he's telling the boys they're not listening to Ralph. They're not building fires and cooking food. They're wasting time playing and running through the island. Ralph gets upset and calls out some of the boys. Some boys stand up and yell back at Ralph, but Ralph overpowers them, saying if they don't build fires and cook food, they will all die.
And Brody's quote kind of connects with mine. Mine's also in chapter 5. "We need an assembly, not for fun, not for laughing, and falling off the log." Ralph is speaking this to the group, telling them that they need to stop goofing off and that they need to follow the rules. And I understand how he feels because I'm always telling Brody what to do because he's always goofing off.
My quote is also like theirs. It's in chapter 5. And it's, "In a moment, the platform was full of arguing, gesticulating shadows. To Ralph, seated, this seemed the breaking up of sanity. Fear, beast, no general agreement that the fire was all important. And when one tried to get the thing straight, the argument sheared off, bringing up fresh, unpleasant matter. Ralph made a rule that only the person holding the conch is able to talk during a meeting. This quote shows how the boys are straying away from civilization and order and are becoming more barbaric."
My quote was also in chapter 5. "The fire is the most important thing on the island. How can we ever be rescued except by luck if we don't keep the fire going?" I think the fire symbolizes God. God is the light, meaning the smoke of the fire is our only hope. God is hope. The smoke, or Jesus, is their salvation to be saved.
And my quote is from chapter 6, and chapter 6 is titled "Beast from Air." And all the smaller kids think that there's like a monster or a beast that's in the water, and now this is like on the land. And my quote kind of explains it. It says, "The changing winds of various altitudes took the figure where they would. Then 3 miles up, the wind steadied and bore it in a descending curve round the sky and swept it in a great slant across the reef lagoon toward the mountain. The figure fell and crumpled among the blue flowers of the mountainside. But now there was a gentle breeze at this height too, and the parachute flopped and banged and pulled. So the figure with feet that dragged behind it slid up the mountain." And this is talking about the man who was killed in the air battle. He was shot down, and so he floated down to the island. And the kids are seeing the shadow that his body is casting onto the ground, and they think it's the monster because they don't know that, of course, that body's up there, and so they think that that's a beast because of the shadow.
I think the biggest character change in these chapters is Ralph. Ralph has good control over the group, but then it lessens from the beginning of the novel, and Jack is becoming more powerful.
In the beginning, all the boys understood the need for order, civilization, and rules. Jack is gaining power because it's easier to confirm with Jack because his attitude is less strict and more appealing to the rest of the boys.
Jack starts to paint his face, and all he wants to do is go hunting for pigs, and that's all he can think about. And he's starting to become like obsessed with it. He likes to kill. He's kind of starting to be like just a killer.
And then he's always been kind of a bully to Piggy, but then he really starts kind of picking on him, like whenever he slaps him, and then he breaks his glasses. And then he never apologizes. He apologizes to Ralph for letting the fire dwindle down, but he never apologizes to Piggy for breaking his glasses.
Ralph is really the only one that sticks up for Piggy, but he still kind of picks on him, but he's really the only one that kind of cares about him.
And then like chapter 4, when the little kids are building the sandcastles, I think it's Roger and Maurice that they're really mean to the kids, but then Ralph and Simon and Piggy are the only ones that are really nice to him.
Because Ralph's the only one that's really actually trying to lead them, and Jack is just doing it for the name leader. Also, like in the first the chapter 4, it talks about painted faces and long hair, and then in the next chapter it goes on to say like about how Ralph's hair is getting long, and it also indicates like the amount of time that they've been there, like how long
Yeah.
it's been. And because Keisha actually pointed it out to me at the beginning, because I never really thought about it, but we were talking about it, and that kind of shows how long they've been there.
And like Sylvia's quote, it says, the fire is like their connection to civilization. When it died out, they're just going to be on the island even longer. And it's because they
I
are
got
not.
my quote. They have to keep the fire going. He tells them they're all gonna die if they don't cook and build the fire. So they gotta eat and they gotta have the smoke to signal people.
And Ralph's the only one trying to make everybody like do that stuff, and Jack doesn't really care about that. And if everybody starts listening to Jack, they're going to just be on the island even longer.
Ralph's just like the more mature one. He's like the only really mature one there.
They start calling the younger ones,
Simon.
no, like the group, the younger people. They start calling them, little ones.
Yeah.
Mittens.
Little ones.
I was gonna say the military airplane battle at the beginning of chapter 6 is important because it kind of reminds us what's going on outside of the island, and that the war is the only reason that the boys are there anyway.
Because the plane got shot down. Because they thought it was a military aircraft.
And then whenever I was researching kind of like what I was missing about my quote, it talked about, and one thing I read that kind of explained it, or helped to explain it, was it compared the beast to the devil, like how it's like intimidating them and how it's like making them act real different and how they're really scared of it. And so the island is kind of like the Garden of Eden. Like it's compared to, it's kind of an allusion to the garden, because at first everything's perfect in the garden, and things would have been a lot better if they would have just kept the order like they did at first.
But like Adam and Eve, they kind of broke the rules.
Yeah, and then whenever they start acting, whenever they start getting, things started getting out of order, and people started wondering and wanting more power, then it was kind of corrupted.
Yeah.
And Jack usually causes temptation. Most of the
Yeah.
time it leads the other ones to go with him.
Yeah, like the young ones see what Jack's doing, and they think that he's cool, and then they just want to follow him.
The struggle between civilization and savagery, right? On the island is like symbolic to the conflict in the outside world, like the war's going on. So, like they're having trouble on the island, just like they're having trouble in the outside world.
Yeah, it relates to reality.
I think we're done.
Lord of the Flies, Part 2.